crypto market is moving, and it's moving in different ways. A lot of different coins are getting attention and they are fluctuating. With XRP, we are looking for a lot of different stuff which we really need to understand. Yes, we had a breakout. Yes, we moved higher, but as of now on a daily, we were not able to break above the moving average. So that has to be considered when the entire altcoin market is in this situation, because that is really important when you look at the Bitcoin market is doing this stuff right now. And yes, we can anticipate there can be a correction, which is a possible retest, nothing big there. But you look at the RSI, it's already giving you that signal. It broke higher, it came back, it's bouncing, which is really good because that's a retest. But the price has not yet done that completely. Now you can argue that at this top, this one level, which extend towards this support, which is the minor support level, it's holding. So if we get one more candle and bounce from there, yes, I do agree on that. But right now, there is still a possibility that you can come down to $52,000 and then bounce towards 65. That's the first outlook for Bitcoin. So at that time, you're looking a little bit less fluctuation in the altcoin. But when you do correct down for that retest, altcoins can take off. Because when Bitcoin slows down, people take profit. And where do they go with it? They go to coins which have a higher potential, right? So we look at XRP on a daily and we understand the stuff. We look at weekly and we are like, okay, fine, that's moving average and the trend line support pushing or holding the price up. So on a daily, short term, you saw like, okay, the moving average is a resistance. But when you take a step back, now you have clarity. It shows you are above the moving average, you are above the trend line support and you're bouncing. So that makes you like, okay, we have a long way to go to the upside. Yes, but the level of patience you need for that is different. We will go through this and highlight that because, we have technically sound stuff happening in the market right now. Because if you are looking at a lot of different opportunities, yes, they are popping. We showed this one, and it's bouncing as we expected. A lot of coins are hitting through our targets. Why are these happening? Especially with a lot of different coins like SHIB and all, it's really going parabolic, right? So I'm gonna go through that and give you guys that idea that what's happening in the market and what you can look for. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. Now guys, yes, a lot of coin moved. This was one of our posts back on 5th, showing that yes, we are going higher. Now this was not the first post. As we were at the bottom, we were saying, okay, I'm gonna enter here. I'm entering a tiny bit more here before we started. Then we started going up and we were following this all the way through with our targets. Then what happened? The price went up, we reached the top, and when we were here at the top, I was like, okay, fine, we are nearing that all-time highs. If you want to take profit, take it. Then again on 8th, I reiterated this asset did like 3000x from now. Even if it has a little bit of upside from here or even another 100%, personally I'll stay out of it because the top range is really hard to understand. If you are a TA guy trying to make sense of things and you're like, okay, if there is an opportunity like 5x, I'm going to look for like 3.5x. Now, yes, most of us made like 3 to 3.5x in just 2 months in that asset. For some, it's a good return. For some, it's a bad return. It depends what type of trader you are. But I'll say, anything above 2.5 in just 2.5x in just 2 months, 2.5 months is not a bad deal. But why are we saying this? Because that asset has already done this much. 3000x is not a small deal. Think we talked about Matic when it was like 1000x and it dropped. Now when you go look at these charts right now, this is what's happening. You had a lot of selling pressure in that region. Remember, we told you to take profit when you are here, and now that's way before we started moving. And when we reached that level, I highlighted we are nearing there, consider taking profit. And when we got a little bit of slowdown, now what do you have to look at that slowdown? I'll take you guys through one of the basic stuff which I look at. Say you come here, You look at this, you see, okay, Shiba, great, Shibino. Now you come here and you see like this. The buying end is 11 million and the selling end is like 38 million. So if you see that substantial increase in selling volume and the price is holding or it's slowing down, be that first guy to jump out. Now I moved out of that asset and I moved in to another asset with all my profit, and I informed all my patrons and precisely the Telegram members about which asset I'm moving in, and I informed all of them that take your profits. It's really important to take your profit, because this is a market where if you are not taking profit, a lot of others are. Now come here and think, if there is 11 million in buy and 38 million in sell, think like this. There is like 2 guys in the market and there is just 2 apples to buy and you need 5 apples. What happens? The same thing. It's supply and demand in that liquidity side. It's really hard to get executed, right? So now, yes, I'm not saying that coin is entirely going to zero or it's not going to do well from here. It's going to do something possibly, but as an investor, if you are looking at this, you're like, okay, fine, it just did a massive run up, so I'm not going to continue on this. So that's just the highlight for basic understanding of where you're entering, what you're looking, and proper decision making. Now, when we come back into the market, say this is XRP, we know that this is being slow, you can call it being suppressed, whatever, but the actual scenario right now in front of your eyes is this. We have been below this resistance, we have followed this pattern. Now what's important to understand is on a 3-day you see this, then you zoom in on a weekly near the same resistance, you are getting an engulfing candle, bullish engulfing candle, which is a bounce from the trend line support and the moving average, which doesn't look bearish to me. For me, that's bullish. Now you take a step again and then you move on. Now, and this is the same chart, right? You go look at this one, zoomed in to understand what's happening there, because you didn't actually get a breakout in the price, so you are now looking at what the indicators are showing you. And RSI is like, okay, fine guys, I'm slowing down, I'm in this pattern, I'm creating lower highs, but I'm not creating lower lows. I'm still trending to the upside in the bottom and I'm still trending to the downside in the top. So what does that actually mean? We haven't yet had a breakout. We are still consolidating, and when the RSI breaks higher, that's when you should be looking or focusing more on the price. Now, when the price bounces like this, you get all the formulas being calculated in for all the indicators and you get that understanding. So on a weekly, you're still getting closer to that breakout, because usually you don't always go to the end and break out. Mostly it's like 70 to 85% of that pattern you break up or down, but the breakout sure does happen. So if you are holding this support, you are looking for a break to the upside here in the RSI and a bounce to the upside. Now, when will that possibly happen, or what can happen before that? You step into a daily chart and you look at this. Great, you pumped with a bullish candle, you reach the support, you reach the resistance, then you slowed down a little bit, you slowly moved above it, you had a lot of volatility. Why? Because now you have a support in the as the trend line, which was the resistance turned support, but at the same time you do have a resistance which is the moving average. So you're having buyers buying when it comes down to the trend line and sellers at the top, which is the moving average. So once you break through this one, now you're not looking on daily and for if you're a seller, right? So if you're a buyer, you want this to break to the upside. So now most of the buyers who are entering into that asset is looking for this. There should be a retest here. When it slowed down, that's when you're seeing money flowing in to Ether, and then a lot more altcoins slowly. But when people take profit from Ether and Bitcoin, that's when you're going to see massive fluctuation in the different altcoins which you are in. And understand, there's a lot of opportunity in the market. See, I'm giving you guys this. I entered in this one, and I was like, before the breakout, we called this one, and we entered there. And, just the next day, it started moving higher. And this is how you anticipate. Now, there are a lot of different stuff which goes into this, not just a rounded bottom. You look at the other side, it's giving you that rounded bottom with the MACD crossing to the upside at the break bottom. Meaning, you look at the Wyckoff pattern and you look at that plot in the RSI, you get this as spring in the RSI and the price. Then you get the cross of MACD at that spring. So I was like, okay, fine, great, that's a reversal. Now you are reaching this particular trend line, and if you're breaking, you're gonna go way higher. So you have a lot of opportunity in the market, and if you're following that properly, you get this. Say when we were coming down, we were like, okay, we need to break above the moving average. We're bouncing like this. The best scenario is like the bounce and MACD, and it just happened. Now remember, this is a post from September 18 in my Patreon. It took almost a month. That means if you don't have patience, don't go to trade. Buy something, just forget it. If you are making trades on a daily basis, it's really going to hurt you. If you know what you are looking at in different assets and you understand, okay, we broke out, we are moving as anticipated, we are reaching our targets, you're taking some profits, that's all good. But if you don't know what you're doing and you enter into an asset, you exit with your purchasing power being reduced and move into another one, again, you pay spread. When you're buying, you're paying spread. When you're selling, you're paying spread. Then if you're moving into another asset, you're again paying that spread. So if you make good gains, it's okay, the spread is teeny tiny bit. But if you don't make gains and if you are losing, automatically those spread affect you, right? So you first of all need to understand what different assets are doing, what's the probability for this asset to do in wave 2, and all the other stuff. When you hit these targets, you're taking profits, and it's because you're positioned well and you know your targets, you're taking profits, right? So if you want that kind of an update, you can always look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. Now guys, when we look back at XRP, we do understand that the market tends to do a lot of different stuff. Now if you go to BTC dominance, you will actually see what we have stated previously is literally happening. Now we can go on a weekly chart and you can see, okay, we had a wick to the upside, we went to the moving average and we were staying at the bottom, and at that time I told you guys that we are going to go to the upside. Now what do the charts say now? If you look at these clues, there is a possibility there. If you're getting rejected from here, the BTC dominance reduces. That means you're going to see a lot of money entering into the altcoins, which is really bullish. But the only stuff which we have to keep in mind is, on the same time in the RSI, you're getting this pattern where you are slowly breaking out. Now if you draw this in a little bit up, a little bit down, you're still like, we at the breakout. But if you put this correctly, you see like, okay, we are breaking out. So the chances are high that Bitcoin is going to, now this is a weekly candle, understand, that's 7 days. So within that, you may go down, bounce from that, then continue higher till this and get rejected around 52 to 53. That's what I personally anticipate, because you have a lot of overhead resistance by that range. You start from here, which is like 49, and then you go all the way up, you have another one 51, then you go all the way up, you have another one, that's a lot of support resistance zone. So mostly it would be going down. So when it's going down, that's when you're going into the altcoins. You're looking at them massively and you understand, okay, you're waiting for that breakout. Now if you step in, you're like, okay, fine, even on a daily we are above the moving average. We came back, retested the moving average many times, and we are still holding and bouncing. Now if you are a pattern trader, you're personally looking for a pattern which gives you at least more than 3 touches. So you're like 1, 2, 3 and then 4, 5. That's great. Now you're looking for this one and you're like, okay, you're slowing down till here, possibly you can get a burst, and that burst in altcoin means a lot of coins are moving, because when you go like this and you click here, you're going to see like coins which are in red. Great. You see like, okay, fine, that particular coin is in red. Now that's in last 24 hours. But if you're an investor, you would be looking at least a minimum of 7 days towards a quarter, a year, like that. You go to return rates here and you're able to do that. You see 30 days, a quarter, a year. So you put it like this in the opposite direction and look at which coin has a lot of fundamentals and it's still down So you are able to buy it cheap. Now understand, when you see red in last 7 days and you see massive increase in last 1 year, you're like, okay, you should go into the chart and make sure how much it has done in this cycle, what you can probably think of, because otherwise you are going to risk it all. That's going to be really risky, because if you see some coin doing short term a lot of upside, then you should be asking, okay, does it really have more fundamental to do much more in this cycle? You'll have to ask those now. And if you are thinking, okay, I'm going to enter into that particular asset, before that, look at the daily volume. Is it enough? Do you think it's okay? Great. Now look at the daily liquidity inside that. If you think that's great, fine, enter. If not, that's going to be really hard, because this is another one like FTM, and I'm seeing something similar to what I've seen in the SHIB. The buyers are like 16 million and the sellers right now is 28 million. So I'm going to literally take you to the FTM right now. You look at this, you say what you are seeing. Now, this is an asset which has already done good performance in this market cycle. So you just zoom back out, you take this one, you plot this, and you're like, okay, fine, what are you looking at? You add this as a previous resistance, you retested that, broke above, came back and bounced from that level. So that was great, that was good. Now, what are you really looking at? Because if you are comparing this with Shiba, what you would be doing is take from the bottom till the top, which is right now, you are like, 1200x, not like what you have seen in Shiba, right? So if you take this, it's literally giving you 1230x. Okay, fine. Now, what's that project about? You go check the project. Do you think that project have that fundamental ability to do this? Now, which wave is it? You can actually use Elliott wave analysis. You can do your own analysis, understand the breakout from the accumulation. You can look at the wave 1, you can look at the wave 2, all those probability and what you can anticipate this one to go till which point. You look at your wave 2 exits. You look at where you should be exiting. And if you are nearing your wave 2 exits or your wave 2 target, that means people are taking profits. And if you are not, that's bad for you. But yeah, if you have patience, you would be able to get some way close to the top exits. So that's how you literally do that. So guys, if you receive real value for your time here in the Scientific Investor channel, please do hit that like and subscribe button, because that supports the channel a lot. And if you want similar updates for your portfolio, to look at a lot of different assets like this and the opportunities, targets and all, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. So guys, I'm leaving for now, and I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.